Hello lovelies, it's Miss Lady Lace here on my glamour channel, and today I have for you a glamorous video sharing a pinup tip on how to achieve a vintage silhouette without wearing any intense shapewear. For our pinup fashion, quite often we draw inspiration from the 1940s and 50s. During these decades we can see a distinct emphasis on the silhouette being really quite cinched in at the waist. This is most commonly seen at the natural waistline, while in other decades like in the 20s we seem to have less definition, and in other decades we have the waistline altered in different areas. When trying to emulate an era of fashion, one of the easiest ways we can achieve this is by trying to recreate the silhouette of this look. Some really classic lines from the 1940s and 50s, including having a cinched waist and an A-line or pencil skirt, or a cinched waist with a swing or circle skirt. In saying all of this, you in no way need a certain body type or you need to achieve a certain silhouette to give off that pinup glamour. I'm very much someone who supports that pinup has no rules in any way. So dress however your heart desires. But if you are looking to recreate silhouettes, today I'm going to be sharing a tip which you may find useful. One of the most common ways of creating a specific silhouette, especially if you're looking to be more historically accurate or to really emulate that silhouette, is by utilizing shapewear. During the 40s and 50s, we see both the use of corsets and girdles as well as other shapewear to achieve these looks. Whilst these things are fabulous and I do truly love them, and I'm actually going to be making a corset video for next week's video, it's sometimes not always practical, functional, or possible for you to wear shapewear. For instance, it's currently summer here in Australia, so many of our days are between 30 and 40 degrees Celsius, which in my opinion is a little bit too hot to be wearing a corset. And this is just an example of how this may not be practical for day-to-day wear. Now, the tip I'm sharing today is actually one I made into a video back in about 2016, but some of my older videos are really quite dated now, so I'm trying to update them and include more information as well as using much better equipment. I think at the time I may have still been shooting on my webcam for my laptop, so my new cameras are definitely a huge upgrade. This tip I have been utilizing for probably about a decade now, and when I shared it with some of my pinup friends, they gave me some really good feedback and thought I should share this information with other people, just because it's so easy and so effective. For today's pinup tip to achieve that perfect pinup silhouette, all you're going to need is some ribbon. This just needs to be a length that you can tie it and secure it around your waist. I'll include the measurement for this in the description below, as I like it to wrap around twice around my waist just for a little bit of an extra cinch. While this next part is optional, I do think it creates a really glamorous vintage look, and this is to have a wide belt. I really love these super stretchy ones that you can get from Hell Bunny and a few other designers. I think the wideness of the belt is really effective because there's many vintage images that reference this sort of width of belt, and I also find because it's a bit wider it does have that smoothing effect to create a really lovely silhouette. So I'll jump up and I'm going to demonstrate how I achieve this look. Okay, so I'm standing now and you can see I have a dress on. It is sitting a little bit more flat through here, and the waist doesn't quite match with my natural waist, which I don't love about this look. With a lot of the vintage clothes I buy, quite often I find the waist doesn't fit very well, which is a really common problem that many of our vintage lovers have, especially our curvy ladies who have a larger bust and bum but smaller at the waist. But this can still be applied even if you do not have as much shape through this area. So I'm going to take my ribbon and I kind of grab it at the central point. I'm going to start by putting that at the center of my back because I'm going to wrap this around twice and I'm going to hide the ribbons at the back. So I simply twist at the front, securing that nicely. Now I want this to be firm, but I don't want this to be pulled super tight. This will both damage my dress, as this is a true vintage 1950s number, and it will also likely become uncomfortable in the day, especially as I eat and drink. So we just want this to be just naturally cinching in the waist just a little bit. I'm simply then just going to tie a bow at the back. And you'll notice there's some excess ribbon, so all I'm going to do is just tuck that into the back here. Now you could just simply stop at this level, especially if you've matched your ribbon lovely or contrasted it to the dress you're wearing. But I'm going to take my lovely stretchy belt. I'm going to pop that into place. Personally, I don't like having the metal part at the front here, as I find it uncomfortable when I'm sitting, and when you sit down sometimes it kind of like buckles up and does this weird thing. So I literally just pivot that to the center back, and that way I find it sits a lot nicer. You can play with the position of the belt. You can have it sort of covering equally on either side of that ribbon, or you can really pull it up, which I think suits the look of this dress a little bit better. So this is what the belt looks like with the ribbon underneath. So we've got that really cinched in definition of waist. I'll show you a quick little flip to when I don't have the ribbon underneath. As you can see, it's just a lot more column shaped rather than the definition of the waist. So that is as simple as it is, just to define your waist a little bit further. This tip today for creating a vintage silhouette is affordable, effective, and also super comfortable, as you're not really reshaping your body in any way. You're just sort of naturally emphasizing where the dress would normally poof out a little bit. If you try this look, love it, and share it on social media, be sure to tag me, as whenever someone tags me on social media, I love to reshare. I'll repost to my stories, as I love to give back and share all the fabulousness that we've achieved together. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video and maybe found it a little bit useful. If you'd like more vintage fashion videos, be sure to let me know in the comments below. As I mentioned earlier, I am planning a video on some corsetry. So next week I'll have this up and I'll be sharing how to put on a corset, as well as reviewing a corset that I received recently. If you'd like early access to my video, exclusive content, and to help support my creation of YouTube videos, I now have my glamour community on Patreon. I'd like to thank all my patrons, but especially my VIP glamour patrons. We have Sarah C and Kane S. To follow my daily pinup adventures, I post super regularly to Instagram. I'll include a little link here as well as the end of the video. And to never miss out on my vintage fun, be sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn on those bell notifications, and I will be seeing you all very soon.